Ever wish you could run an online store without the warehouse headaches? Like mountains of inventory and shipping logistics
Yeah,
nightmares.
it's a common dream for aspiring entrepreneurs.
Well, that's where dropshipping comes in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into dropshipping, cutting through the hype to see if it's really the e-commerce game changer everyone's talking about.
What's so intriguing about dropshipping is it flips the script on traditional retail.
Let's say a customer orders, I don't know, a hand-carved back scratcher.
Okay, I'm picturing it. Very specific.
With dropshipping, you wouldn't have that back scratcher sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Right.
Instead, you'd have a supplier who ships it directly to the customer. You're basically taking the warehouse out of the equation.
So you're acting like a middleman, connecting buyers and sellers without ever touching the actual product.
Precisely. Think of it like being the conductor of an orchestra. You're managing all the moving parts to create a seamless experience.
I like that. The maestro of e-commerce. So what are the big advantages of leading the orchestra this way? Well, first off, lower overhead. No need to rent a massive warehouse, which can be a huge cost saver, especially when you're just starting out.
Makes sense.
Plus, you can scale your business up or down on a dime without worrying about excess inventory.
So if a product flops, you're not stuck with thousands of them gathering dust.
Exactly. You can be much more agile in testing new products and responding to trends.
That's a massive advantage in the fast-paced world of e-commerce. But it can't all be smooth sailing. What about the potential downsides? What should entrepreneurs watch out for?
The million-dollar question.
Right, there's always a catch.
The biggest one is finding those reliable suppliers. Because they're handling your inventory, packaging, and shipping, they're essentially an extension of your brand.
So you're putting a lot of trust in them to maintain your reputation.
Absolutely. A missed deadline or a faulty product could reflect poorly on you, even though you didn't physically handle it.
Because, let's be real, if a customer orders a self-stirring coffee mug that doesn't stir, they're not blaming the supplier. They're coming to you.
Exactly. And handling those customer service, inquiries, returns, all that falls on your shoulders.
It's like you're the face of the operation, even if you're not behind the scenes packing boxes.
Precisely. And that requires a different approach to customer service, one that's proactive and relies on a strong partnership with your supplier.
It seems like communication is key in making this whole dropshipping symphony work. Now, our research also mentioned blending dropshipping with traditional inventory models. Why would someone go for a hybrid approach like that?
It's all about finding the right mix for your business.
Like a well-balanced breakfast, you need that hearty base and then some exciting toppings.
I like how you think. You might choose to manage your best-selling products in-house, maybe those tried and true items.
Right.
Then you could use dropshipping to test new products or offer a wider variety without the risk.
Okay, so it's a way to diversify your offerings and maybe mitigate some risks. But before we delve deeper into those strategies, let's break down the actual process. What happens when a customer clicks that Buy Now button on a dropshipped item?
Well, from the customer's perspective, it's pretty much the same as any other online purchase. They find the product, add it to their cart, and check out.
Business as usual.
But here's where the dropshipping magic comes in. Instead of you scrambling to pack the order, you simply forward the details to your supplier.
So their system talks to your system behind the scenes.
Exactly. They get the shipping info, and they handle the rest.
Sounds pretty hands-off. But what about the customer? Do they know a third party is involved?
Transparency is key. While the customer knows the product ships directly from the supplier, you're still the one curating the experience. Your branding, your packaging, your customer service.
So it's kind of like ordering a pizza, right? You know the restaurant didn't grow the tomatoes themselves, but that doesn't change how much you enjoy the pizza.
Perfect analogy. The customer gets that same seamless shopping experience, but behind the scenes, you're strategically leveraging a network of suppliers to make it happen.
That makes sense. So even though you're not physically handling the products, you're still very much in control of the customer experience.
Absolutely.
What does that actually look like, though? I mean, what are you responsible for in terms of customer service when you're drop shipping?
You become their main point of contact. Any questions, any concerns, they come to you.
So you're like the brand ambassador, even if you're not the one boxing up the products.
Exactly. You're curating the entire experience, making sure it's top-notch from start to finish.
That makes sense. Now, when it comes to actually choosing products to dropship, that's got to be a crucial part of the equation, right? What advice would you give to someone building their dropshipping empire? What should they be thinking about?
Oh, product selection can make or break you. It's so important. A lot of people, they get seduced by trendy products, you know.
Yeah, the latest and greatest.
But they forget about the logistics, shipping costs, profit margins, all that.
Right, it's not just about what's hot right now.
Exactly. Instead of chasing fads, look for that sweet spot. Products with decent profit margins, reasonable shipping costs, and good demand, but not oversaturated. You know what I mean?
Find those hidden gems, the products people want but aren't drowning the market yet.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've got your product. What about marketing? Does drop shipping require a different approach compared to, say, running a traditional e-commerce store?
Well, the fundamentals still apply. You need to know your audience, craft compelling messages, all that good stuff.
Right, but basics.
But drop shipping throws in some curveballs.
Oh, how so?
Well, shipping times. They can be longer than what people are used to with those retail giants.
Everyone expects things instantly these days.
Exactly. So you have to be upfront about that. Set realistic expectations right off the bat.
Under promise, over deliver, the old saying.
Exactly. Transparency builds trust, which is crucial when you're dealing with online shoppers.
Absolutely. So you're not just selling a product, you're selling trust, you're selling an experience.
100%. That's why your brand story is so important. What makes you unique? What sets you apart?
You've got to stand out in that crowded online marketplace.
For sure. Now, we can't talk about drop shipping without mentioning technology, right?
It's the backbone of e-commerce these days. But is dropshipping as simple as setting up a website and watching the orders roll in? Or is there more to it than that?
If only it were that easy. It's more nuanced than that. Think of it this way. You're not managing a physical warehouse, but you're managing a virtual one.
Okay, I like that. So what's the technology look like?
Well, platforms like Shopify, they're your command center.
I've heard of Shopify.
They connect you with suppliers, automate order processing, keep your customers in the loop with tracking info, all that.
It's like having a virtual assistant handling the logistics.
Pretty much. They've got your back, so you can focus on the bigger picture, like building your brand.
What are some other tasks that those platforms can handle? Give me some examples.
Inventory management is a big one. Your website can actually sync up with your supplier's stock levels in real time.
No more selling things you don't actually have.
Exactly. No more awkward apologies or scrambling to find a replacement. They can also automate your marketing emails, track your sales, even help you analyze customer behavior.
Wow, it really is like having a whole team working behind the scenes. But with all this automation, do you ever feel like a small piece in a giant machine? Where does the human element come in, that personal touch?
That's a great question. And it's true, you can get caught up in the tech side of things.
It's easy to get lost in the weeds.
That's why your role as the dropshipper is so important. The technology might handle the logistics, but you're the one building the brand, connecting with customers, you know?
You're the human touch in a digital world.
Exactly. You're building relationships, creating a community around your brand.
That makes sense. Now, we've talked a lot about the upsides of dropshipping, but let's address the elephant in the room. Are there any ethical concerns entrepreneurs should think about when it comes to dropshipping? Yeah, I can see how things could get a little ethically blurry if you're not careful.
Exactly. Like any business, there are ethical considerations with dropshipping. Transparency is a big one. Being upfront about shipping times, where the product is coming from, all of that.
Right. Customers want to know what to expect.
Exactly. And they deserve to know. And then there's responsible sourcing.
Oh, finding suppliers who are doing things right.
Exactly. Ethical labor practices, sustainable materials, fair wages. That's not just good business. It's about aligning your brand with values.
It's about putting your money where your mouth is, showing customers you care about more than just profits.
100%. And remember our chat about hybrid models.
Yeah.
That can be a good way to address some of those ethical concerns head on.
Combining the flexibility of dropshipping with the control of your own inventory. So how do you decide which products to dropship and which to handle yourself?
It's about finding that balance. Think about your best sellers, those core products. Those might be good candidates to keep in-house. You know, total control over quality and shipping.
Makes sense.
Then with those newer products, or maybe items with unpredictable demand, dropshipping lets you test the waters without a huge investment up front.
Less risk, more flexibility.
Exactly. You can gauge interest, experiment a bit, see what sticks.
And then maybe bring some of those dropshipped items in-house as they gain traction.
Precisely. It's all about staying agile, adapting as you go.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the nuts and bolts of how dropshipping actually works to the bigger picture, choosing products, marketing, building a brand. What are the key takeaways here? What do you want our listeners to remember?
Dropshipping, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. And it's not without its challenges, but it can be a really powerful tool for entrepreneurs. Lower barrier to entry, more flexibility. But you got to be smart about it. Do your research, find those trustworthy suppliers.
Due diligence is key, as always.
For sure. And don't be afraid to adapt, to evolve as your business grows.
If you're passionate about what you're doing, if you're in it for the long haul, dropshipping could be a great fit. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely shaken up the e-commerce world.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of dropshipping. We hope you found this exploration insightful and feel ready to take on the world of e-commerce. We'll see you next time. Happy selling!